all over the internet, you'll hear people talk about native browse or native forages. So I'm going to run through a few of them in this opening right here. This was actually a pine forest that was clear cut about 3 or 4 years ago and burned for its first time this past winter. In my hand, we have pokeweed. Deer browse it heavily. We have beautyberry, which is a shrub, and again, deer will browse pretty heavily. We have sumpweed, which is a forb. Not always browse heavily by deer, but I've seen deer wear it out in some instances. Late boneset, which is important structure in an old field community. It's one of the later flowering forbs and it's pretty tall. This is false aster. Again, browse pretty heavily by deer. This is blackberry. There's also some dewberry growing here, of course. This holds its leaves later into the fall than a lot of our other forbs. Deer will browse it then late. Of course, it also produces berries during the summer of high value to deer and other wildlife species. Horseweed. Horseweed gets a lot of hate. At maturity, it's anywhere from 3 to 5 feet tall. It provides really good structure. It's an annual. It's one of the first things that normally colonizes disturbed old field. But it's also browsed pretty heavily by deer in some instances. So I like horseweed. We have common ragweed. This one gets a lot of publicity. It's a great forb, pretty high in protein, very digestible, really good structural component, and high forage quality. This is Eastern Baccharis. We get a lot of this in the south, and it gets a bad rap because encroachment into old field areas or really openings that aren't being disturbed. But as long as you keep up with your disturbance, your fire and whatnot, you'll keep top killing Baccharis and it won't become a problem. It won't necessarily take over. It holds its leaf later into winter, and again, this is one of those forages that deer don't necessarily eat during summer, but you'll see deer eat this in winter, and in some cases it's a pretty important food source. This is one of our later blooming goldenrods, and then I've got another one of our goldenrods right here. All of these forages were collected within about a 10-yard radius of where I'm standing, so we have a lot of diversity in that shown right there with 2 different species of goldenrod. Last one, partridge pea. This is an annual forb, good nutritional quality forage for deer, provides really good structure for game birds and whatnot using an old field. So in this little area that I walked around and picked up all those forages, it didn't take but a minute to find all of those in this little radius. There's actually more forages around me that I didn't take the time to pick up. We didn't plant a single thing out here. All we did was just cut the trees and burn. All of these were in the seed bank or brought in by birds and whatnot. They existed here without us having to do anything. Behind me, before we close it out, we have broom sedge growing here. That's plume grass, this really tall grass growing behind me, and then devil's walking stick, which I don't know if this one is yet, but devil's walking stick is also highly preferred by deer. You see them browsing it really heavily in a lot of instances. So again, all free, all here. All we had to do was just disturb the site.